Hey, good afternoon, guys. Glad you tuned in. It's April the 3rd, 2021, and I appreciate it if you'd hit the like button and please subscribe before I get on along with this video. Today I want to talk about something I've never talked about to very few people, about how I obtained salvation, converted my life, if you will, the conversion process. It's my testimony. I always believed in God. I believed that He existed. I never had a problem with that. I never knew Him. I knew about Him. I heard a lot about God, and I knew some of the stories in the Bible, some of the New Testament stories, because I was raised a Catholic. I was actually taught in a Catholic grade school, kindergarten through 8th grade, and I was taught by nuns. So I definitely heard some things about that were in the Bible, but I never really, like I said, I heard about them, heard about God, but I never knew God. That's the difference. And so, yeah. This is kind of difficult. I'm trying to find the words to speak here. I don't want to say too much right now, because I want to tell you in the next few videos some of the miraculous events that took place after my salvation, and they're still taking place. But I don't want to give too much information away right now. But I will tell you this, that I had an entire church praying for me. They threw my name in a hat, so to speak, and then everybody prayed for the names that were in the hat. Some kind of container they threw all the names in. I do know that. And then because I was quite the sinner. I was like Paul, he made that statement, I'm the chiefest of sinners. I was the chiefest of sinners. I was really good at it. You don't have to work very hard at being the chiefest of sinners, because it's just, it's basically a human trait in every one of us. So it's in our DNA. It's a genetic thing passed down from Adam and Eve. So you can't hardly shake it. It's just there. It's part of us. And so, anyway, I do want to tell you this story, though. So the church was praying for me for a long, long time. And so what happened was I would be in my sleep. This lasted for, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. So God would visit me in my sleep, and He would give me this dark dread. It's hard to explain. It was like this deep fear would come over me in my sleep, and I would wake up early in the morning from that. And that happened to me quite a few times, and I finally woke up one morning and I told my wife, I said, you know what? we have to get right with God. Because this fear was so great that it was in my sleep. And it was the fear that if I died, I would go to hell. And of course I would have. There's no question about that. But it was a serious fear. I had never experienced that before. So I went to this little old church, and they invited me to anybody want to get right with God, and I went up there and I got right with God finally, because I played around as a teenager, and I did a lot of acting because there was some family members that was saved, and they would bring me to church, and they'd be like, "Hey, get right with God," run up to the altar, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, whatever," and pretend. And I was never right with God. God knew it. I knew it. Yeah, actually, that was pretty dangerous for me doing that stuff. But it was ignorance on my part. So I had no intentions of getting right with God, because I enjoyed my freedoms and all the sinful ways that I had. I was enjoying them, and I didn't want to give them up, because I thought, and I always thought the Christian life was boring, and I used to have this. In fact, right before I got right with God, I only knew just a little bit about the Bible. Just I knew some stories, but I wasn't a Bible guy. I wasn't a Bible man. And so one story I did know about was Job. And before I got right with God, that kept going around and around and around in my mind, that, what? God's going to take everything away from you, just like he did Job. And that kept me from, it worked for a short time. That lie and that deceitfulness. I now know that it was from the enemy, but because I never thought about that, in the past. But as I was fixing to give my life to the Lord, those things started coming to me. And so anyway, I want to say this, and then I'll be done, and because I want to leave some of the better stuff for later. I got right with God. I got salvation at the altar, and this I want to leave with you. Whenever I got saved and I started coming home, for a long time, for probably a month, maybe, it could have been longer, that whenever I laid down, that I felt like I was that I was being held, suspended in the air. I mean, I know I was laying in the bed, right? But I felt like I was being, it's the strangest feeling ever. It was like I was laying on a cloud. I guess that's the only way I can explain it. Like, I would lay down and go to sleep, and it was almost like the bed wasn't there. Like I was floating or suspended in the spirit realm is the only way I can explain it. And now I believe that it was the Lord that was holding me and that was keeping me as a baby Christian. And I do believe that that's true. That the Lord was literally just holding me because I was a newborn babe in Christ. And that experience was totally incredible. And it was real. It was real. And it didn't last forever because I had to grow up, right? You can't stay a child forever. So eventually that wore off, and I wasn't just held like a baby anymore. But guys, I just wanted to. This is it. This is my salvation experience. Of course, there's a lot more to it. I don't want to bore you with all the details, but stay tuned for my next one. I want to talk about some of the miracles that happened. That was the first miracle. salvation is a miracle, by the way. Being held by God is a miracle, I'd say. So stay tuned for my next video. I'm going to tell you about some miracles that you may find shocking and hard to believe, but God did it for me, and He's still doing them. Just ridiculous miracles. Like, what? I can't believe you did that, God. I just can't believe you did it. But God's good, and He wants to do all those miracles in our lives on a regular basis, by the way. Anyway, you guys have a good Easter weekend, and I'll talk to you later.